Foraging net gator, we just came out recently. Now we would want to properly identify this. This is not an identification sheet, but it is a good primer to help you remember top of mind. And it's also a good teaching aid. So when you're not out, quote, doing a 72-hour survival challenge, the plants and fungi on this is a really good scavenger hunt. I think if you learn these, you learn a variety of different things. And so in particular, we put the prickly pear cactus on there because you can find them all over the US and the world. I literally found one in Israel one time. They provide one special thing that's pretty hard to get in nature, and that's gonna be some sugars. They're little, what they call tunas, what in Spanish they call tunas. And this is that red fruit. This is just one of our bandanas with a net. It's gonna come in handy for this spiky little thing.
I guess so. We've come across some tracks here in the sand, and quite obviously to me, I know that that's a deer. The tracking bandana here has quite a few varieties of footprints on here to help you kind of identify some tracks that you might come across. And here, very clearly, is a white-tailed deer. And if I compare that to this track, it's, you know, unmistakable. That's exactly what that is, whitetail or blacktail. It's going to be very, very similar. So it's a really handy thing to have, especially if you're just curious, interested in trying to find out, you know, what the animals in your area are, not necessarily for a survival situation, but if you just, you know, just want to know kind of what's out and about, something like this can help you identify it. And on the same lines of tracking, if you're having a hard, you can see the track, but you can't really make out the details of it. Something that I've done, specifically on gravestones, actually. So I'm a big fan of going to old graveyards and things like that and checking it out, and just for some reason that's fascinating to me too. Like go to the old Civil War graveyards and things like that, and it's really difficult to read the stones sometimes. You just cannot make out. You can tell that there's some sort of engraving on there, but you can't read it. So what you do is use a flashlight. Or you can probably use a mirror as well, but a flashlight's what I've traditionally used. And you take the flashlight, and let's say this is the gravestone. You take the flashlight and you hold it at an angle like this, and you shine it this direction. And what that will do is it will create a really big contrast. It will shadow all of the depressions of the carvings, and it'll make it really, really easy for you to read the writing on the stone. And the same principle can be applied to this. So we can use our flashlight. It's gonna be tough because it's so bright out right now, but you can use this and shine it at a really close to the ground angle, and it's gonna give you some darkness and make the shadows a little bit more in the depression points, and you can kind of pick up a little bit more detail on it. You can kind of get what I'm seeing there. Pick up kind of the depressions in the footprint a little bit more clearly, and you could probably do the same thing. I haven't done this specifically, but you could probably do the same thing with a mirror and kind of get some light shining on the situation and just make it a little bit more easy for you to identify what you're looking at. Those are awfully prickly.
Yeah.
We should call this plant something like, I don't know, like a prickly...
Well, it looks like pears, like these little fruity things, like with pears, so we could like mix those words together.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, something easy to remember. Prickly pear might be a good name.
Stinging apple.
Rolling. Describe the taste of a juniper berry for me.
Well, they definitely have like a little bit of a turpentine at the end, but before that, they're sweet. A lot of people say juniper actually is what gin is made out of. Juniper is what flavors gin, and Jennifer is what it used to be called. And so sometimes you'll get them that they have like a little more astringency. These, to me, they're
pretty sweat.
Pretty sweet, right? Yeah. I don't know how to describe them. Maybe a little bit of blueberry, but it's probably just because they're blue.
Because they're blue. Yeah, it actually does, I think, taste a little bit like a blueberry, and then at the very end, it's got a not so pleasant flavor.
A little astringent, yeah.
Currently, we're gathering some of the willow, and this is, what was it, the pussy willow? I think it's actually what
maybe
these
it's pussy willow,
which is
sheep willow. I'm not sure.
Which sounds naughty to say, but that's it's okay. So that's the name of the plant. So we're gathering some of it. So you could chew on the ends. Dustin was telling me that this reddish, the brighter red color is where you're going to get most of the medicinal value. And it actually has, it's kind of nature's natural aspirin. And if you were in a situation like this and you were having altitude issues and having headaches and such, chewing on the ends of these might actually help it out. You could also cut it up a little bit smaller and make yourself some sort of a brew, and then drink that, and that might ease some of your ailments.
Willow, aka, or in the scientific name, salix. Salix or salicin or salicylic acid is the precursor, or salicin is a precursor for aspirin, and it can be used medicinally. You can see by our bandana, we point that out. There's a couple different things, indicators here, which you can use willows for. You can use it for cordage. We can strip off the bark and use it for that. You can use it for protein. But in this case, what we want to do is get Jason some medicine. And so you see it's got a little teacup looking thing indicator here, and it's pointing out particularly to the younger shoots where a lot of the medicinal properties are more concentrated. So we've went ahead and collected that. You can kind of see those are similar in aesthetic. That's where the young buds are.
And there are cattails here. There's cattails over here on the far side of the creek, but the water is freezing cold. And I don't want to sound like a wuss, but I don't want to go in there unless I absolutely have to. It's like painfully cold water.
That'll be nice. That'll be super nice.
And there's a little sprout one there too. That'll be good to eat. I have eaten my fair share of cattail tubers. I basically lived off those for a month in Louisiana at one time. And it is very starchy. You kind of roast them over the fire, peel off kind of the outside bark and chew on it until you get the pulp, starchy pulp out, and then spit out the rest, the stuff that's kind of indigestible. Oh yeah, that's a score right there. All right, you win.
Cattail rhizomes, and that one's probably more than cooked. That's for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I prefer my rhizomes well done.
And I just broke off your prickly pear fruit.
And here is a prickly pear fruit that has been roasted, toasted, and then sliced in half. And they're not bad. I mean, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of sweetness to them. The fruit you just got to be careful with because the tiny little glocked hairs can, even after you scorch them, Jason was telling us you got to be real careful because they can still be there. I basically just cut them in half and then kind of, I don't know what kind of fruit you would eat like that. Similar to some
kiwi?
other fruit. Maybe kiwi, yeah. Just kind of eat the meat out of the middle. We didn't have any food on this. There's no real rations. However, I did fly here. And thanks to Southwest Airlines, I have a snack mix. It's been in my pocket for a couple days, so it might be kind of smashed up. Hopefully it's not just pretzels and all squished up. Powdered pretzel. So yeah, I say we split it.
Cool.
You in?
Thank you. I could take some saltiness and
Yeah.
I won't grab it with my grubby hands.
Oh crap.
No, we'll get it.
We got to get that. There you go, buddy. That's probably half. Get after it. That's pretty good. I'm pretty hungry right now. Like the hunger pains come and go. But at this actual moment, I'm pretty hungry, so.
Salt is nice.
The salt is good.
So the lesson is, always keep your snack packs after you get out of a plane. Don't eat them on the plane. Put them in your pocket. You never know what's going to happen.
You don't know. Oh, yeah. The salt is good. You know, I've gone a long time without eating before. Or at least not eating very much. And salt, even the tiniest little bit of salt was what I craved. Just saltine crackers were the most amazing thing on the face of the earth after going without for so long. Should we save this special multi-tool? Or?
It looks cool. I don't know what else we're going to use it for,
I don't know either.
We'll find something. Maybe we'll have a good... Everyone needs a stick in their hand.
Gotta have a whack. You know what? I have killed a lot of animals with a stick just like this.
And IAA is also a whacker. It's
yeah,
IAA.
it's also a what will we call it? Small creature dispatching implement. So yeah, what I typically do is I would leave some of the branches on the end and make it like a fly swatter. And you can get crickets, you can get small frogs and lizards and all kinds of stuff with a tool just like that. Basically a big long fly swatter. It works really well. I've eaten a lot of critters like that. Pretty good.
Dude, that is like raspberry pie.
That's pretty good. This one does have big seeds in it though, huh?
Yeah. And they're actually chewable. We're gonna bake our cattail rhizomes. So I'm just gonna completely cover them in the foil.
And cook them up.
Cook them up.
Steam.
Perfect.
Oh, steam action. Steamed cattail tubers. A delicacy.